Hey guys, I am back, and today I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the latest Rogue One, a Star Wars story trailer. So this trailer debuted Thursday night during the Olympics. I did a reaction video to it, so if you have not seen it, check it out. And actually, when I did my reaction video, my reaction wasn't that enthusiastic about it, but the more I watch this trailer, the more I appreciate it and the more I like it. A lot similarly to the Wonder Woman trailer. I really like that trailer now. But I thought I should just do a video breaking down the trailer. So the very first shot we get right here is of the planet Jedha. And we get what looks like some TIE fighters flying by and some new ships. We see on the right side of the screen what looks like an Imperial transport type of ship flying up and leaving. And what really stands out to me in this shot is the cinematography is amazing. Obviously, you got Gareth Edwards, but this really does look like Jerusalem to me. And director Gareth Edwards has described this planet Jedha as a place where there's a lot of spirituality going on here, but a certain force is trying to drive that out of it, which is a lot like what's going on in Jerusalem right now. So this shot is really cool shot. Just pretty. Yeah, so a really cool shot. I mean, it does look like it's a place where you would come for a pilgrimage or something, a lot like Jerusalem. So, and then it's just a really cool shot. All right, and moving on. We have Jyn Erso, and we have Saw Gerrera. And what's different about this shot from all the other shots we've seen of Saw Gerrera before this trailer is he does have a beard and longer hair. And this is a result of the reshoots that went down with Rogue One, because if you guys haven't heard, Rogue One had a decent amount of reshoots done, which is expected for a big budget movie like this. But one thing that is different is Saw does have a little bit different of an appearance in this trailer. As you can see, he has his hair's longer, he has a beard, and in the other trailers he is not cleanly shaven, but he doesn't have this kind of beard or hair, so that's something different to notice in this trailer. Okay, and then now we have
Imperial flags reign across the galaxy.
Imperial flags reign across the galaxy. This does look like the very first. This looks like the place that we saw in the very first shot. This is Jedha. And if you look to the right side of the screen, that looks like the brand new U-Wing to me that was debuted on the Star Wars show, but it also could be an Imperial ship because we see a lot of TIE fighters flying around, and that wouldn't necessarily make a ton of sense if a TIE fighter was just with a U-Wing, because a U-Wing is a rebellion ship, unless they were escorting it to the Star Destroyer or something like that. And then we have what seems to be like this sort of castle type thing in this little fortress, and I don't know what that is. I feel like it has something to do with the Jedi or with the Force, because Jedha is actually the place where the Jedi originated, according to director Gareth Edwards. But overall, great shot right here. I really like it. Yeah. All right, so let's keep going. Lucasfilm.
Can you be trusted without your shackles?
Let's just get this over with, shall we?
Can you be trusted without your shackles? Definitely makes us think that Jyn Erso did something illegal, where she was brought in and they want her to go on sort of this suicide mission. I mean, I've compared this movie a little bit to Suicide Squad, as in these guys are just going on a mission where they shouldn't make it out alive. But if you did see Suicide Squad, that's not what happened. But maybe so this will happen with this movie. But and then in the background, we just have some rebellion lights going on to show maps. I think it's a map display. So let's keep going. And then right here we get a shot of Mon Mothma. And the guy to the left, some people have speculated that this could be Agent Kallus from the Star Wars Rebels TV show. I don't think so, just because I don't think Kallus would necessarily, if he even did. So let's backtrack. Agent Kallus he works for the Empire. He kind of was in charge of trying to get the rebels, but he couldn't really do it, so Vader came in, and then Kallus kind of got downgraded. But then we saw this episode of Star Wars Rebels between Zeb and Agent Kallus, where those two really hated each other because Agent Kallus killed a lot of Zeb's family and his race, but then they really kind of connected on a different level, and you sort of got the feeling that Agent Kallus had sympathy for this guy and sympathy for the rebellion, because he had a chance to call in and bring in the rebels at the end of the episode, and he didn't. And then we see him go back to his quarters on a Star Destroyer, and no one really notices him at all. But with the Rebels, people did notice him, and they appreciated him. So some people think that he could have defected, and this guy to the left could be Agent Kallus. I don't think so, just because even if he did defect, he wouldn't have this high of a ranking in the Rebellion. So, but it's still kind of a cool fan theory, so let's keep going.
We've a mission
For you, Diego Luna.
A major weapons test is
Okay, a
imminent.
major weapons test is imminent. Right here, we obviously get a shot of a Star Destroyer, and to me, this looks very classic Star Destroyer-like. Everything we've seen in A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi. It just looks really good. It looks really like the old Star Destroyers, and I think that's awesome. All right, let's keep going.
We need to know how to destroy it.
And then obviously right here, we do get the shot of the Death Star putting on some kind of panel that they use to fire and blow up planets. And what this shot was in the last trailer, but what really sticks out to me in this is that you see the Star Destroyers in front of this Death Star, and look how small they look. That's the massive size of the Death Star. It's no moon, it's a freaking space station. But it's just an overall really cool shot right here. Okay, let's keep going.
If you're really doing this.
Okay, right here, after Diego Luna says, "Are you really doing this?" we get our first first detailed glimpse of the U-Wing. Like I said in that previous shot, it could be the U-Wing in that previous shot, but here definitely looks like we're on the Rebel base of Yavin, based off of what we've seen in A New Hope and in various video games. But this new ship is the U-Wing. The U-Wing is a troop transport, amongst other things, and can be seen later in the trailer, which I will pause and say that's definitely the U-Wing there. And then what I think is happening in this scene is the guy who I was saying could be Agent Kallus is the guy standing there, and probably Diego Luna's character, Cassian Andor, and Felicity Jones' Jyn Erso could probably be in this ship going out to do something in their mission. So let's keep going.
I want to help.
Good.
Good.
All right, let's pause it right here. All the only dialogue we get right here is good, but something that I like is that they're not hiding Diego Luna's accent. I just think it's cool that we get someone with an accent like that. All right.
I've been recruiting for the rebellion for a long time.
All right, let's pause it here. Cassian Andor has been recruiting for the rebellion for a long time. That's an interesting little point that I never knew, the rebellion is sort of like a college football team where they go actually and try to get new recruits. I never knew that. I kind of just knew that people tried to join the rebellion and they could do it that way, but I never knew that the rebellion necessarily went out and tried to recruit people. So that's something new we learned in this trailer. All right, and then this shot right here, we get what looks like that U-Wing flying to, I'm not sure what planet this is. This could be Scarif, where the beach planet is that we see later, or it could be Jeddah at a different time period or a different place in the setting. So
We destroyed our home.
they destroyed our homes right here. Don't remember this guy's character, but I know that he is friends with Chirrut, who is not Diego Luna, who is Donnie Yen's character, so he's friends with him. And then we get a shot of him shooting, and then Chirrut's in the background. And then right here, really cool shot, we get him just taking out some stormtroopers. So, I mean, it could be edited where that's not him, but I probably is him shooting them. All right, so let's keep going.
I fight the Empire now.
All right, right here we get another shot of what looks like, I'm not sure what ship this is. It almost looks a little bit to me like in Revenge of the Sith. We have those kind of droid, kind of TIE fighter looking kind of things where they're just kind of, they're droid ships, which is weird in itself. But this almost looks like that to me, kind of. Probably not, but that's just what makes me think of. And then right here, I guarantee you this is on Jeddah. I mean, technically it could be on Tatooine, Jakku, or one of the other sand/desert planets we have seen, but still, I mean, the cinematography strikes out in this part. It's just the movie looks really good so far, so let's keep going. Right here, we get a shot of stormtroopers in what looks like some kind of tank. And what sticks out to me, there's a guy on the left that looks really cool. He looks like the bottom half of him is a stormtrooper almost, or like a clone trooper. The top half of him, I don't know. It looks different. But then we have some different looking stormtroopers in this. I'm not sure what you're gonna call them, but these looks like ground troopers or ground transportation, and the guy in the tank just looks different. I think it's a really cool design of his character, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of them.
I fear nothing. All is as the Force wills it.
Alright, so Chirrut here says, all is as the Force wills it. It definitely makes me believe that. So going back to Star Wars Rebels, there's a Jedi named Kanan who was blinded by Darth Maul, but he used the Force to be able to basically navigate as if he still had his eyes, and Chirrut's character here is indeed blind. And what he's been described as is he's not a Jedi, but he truly believes in the Force. And I think that, not all Jedi, or not all people that use the Force are Jedi or Sith necessarily. We saw in The Force Awakens that Maz Kanata, well, I guess we didn't see, but we heard in a deleted scene where she actually used the Force kind of with her eyes and something like that. But here, what makes me believe Chirrut uses the Force is what blind dude could easily take out some stormtroopers. And I think that he indeed does use the Force, but that doesn't make him a Jedi, because the Force is something that it binds everyone together. It's always there. And you can just classify it in certain ways as being a Jedi or a Sith, which you use the Force, but anyone can use it if they have that ability. So, and then just cool scene here of him trying to take down some stormtroopers looks really badass.
The captain says you are a friend. I will not kill you.
Alright, and now we have here K2SO, who is a new droid, and I reported this on my Star Wars show Force Talk. Check it out, it's on iTunes. That just search Trey's podcasts and it should pop up. That this character K2SO is an Imperial droid that was stolen or captured somehow by Cassian Andor, who's Diego Luna's character, and Cassian wiped his memory, and K2SO here really serves as kind of a friend or a servant to Cassian Andor, and the relationship has sort of been described as a Chewie/Han dynamic, and he's very loyal to Cassian, so we get some funny dialogue here.
Not kill you.
Thanks. There isn't much.
Okay, right here, probably my favorite shot of the whole trailer. We get the Death Star, which is, we're presumably overlooking Jedha right here. And what sticks out to me most in this shot, not only the amazing cinematography, is that there's no upside down in space. There's no right side up. There's no concept of direction, really. So every shot we've seen of the Death Star has been, if you cut it in half, the laser point has been in the top half. But here, it looks like that the laser is in the bottom half because, in the first part of this trailer, we hear Mon Mothma saying a weapons test is imminent. That could be alluding to what happens with Alderaan in A New Hope, but I don't think so, because what happens with Alderaan in A New Hope seemed to be kind of a sporadic thing to just show Leia, you can't mess with us this way. But the fact that Mon Mothma says a weapons test could be imminent, they could be trying to destroy this planet Jedha. And what makes sense is the Death Star is angled where it would shoot down at this planet, and that makes sense because it's on top, it's over the planet. So just a really cool shot here and a very practical use of the Death Star, and I think it's really, really cool and a different way to view the Death Star because there's really no concept of direction in space, so that's really cool. Let's keep going.
It's time.
Alright, and then the very next shot. Oh, this is awesome. We get what I think is the Death Star having a solar eclipse on some kind of sun, and just, it's a really cool shot. And then in the background here, we do see that kind of fortress with that castle thing that I was talking about at the very first shot of the trailer, and then like the second shot where we get the Star Destroyer on top of it. This really cool shot right here. Sort of kind of like the binary sunset, but different because the two suns, one of them is a Death Star, and I just think it's a really cool shot. So let's keep going from here.
Every day they grow stronger.
Okay, now we do have director Orson Krennic, played by Ben Mendelsohn, and he looks awesome here. He looks menacing, he looks pissed off, he looks everything that I want this guy to be. I think he isn't quite a Grand Admiral. Why I say that is because normally someone who wears that white suit with the cape it's considered a Grand Admiral, like Grand Admiral Thrawn, who will appear in Star Wars Rebels Season 3 premiere next month. But anyways, going back to director Orson Krennic, It looks like he's definitely going to be the main villain of this movie. Darth Vader is going to be in it, obviously, but I think he's going to be sort of a background character. Similarly to the Joker, maybe in Suicide Squad, but probably a little bit more of him on screen. Or maybe not a little bit more, but he'll have more of an impactful arc on the story. But just really cool shot here of director Orson Krennic. I don't know what else there is to say about it, but it's a really cool shot, and I think it really captures the ferocity of the characters. Let's keep going. Okay, and then right here we get another look of the U-Wing, and like I said earlier, it is a troop transport, so the troops are being transported out of it, so it makes sense. And then we get a really cool shot of what looks like to be some rebel fighters on this beach, which is, I think this planet is called Scarif. I think it is. I'm not 100% sure about it. I know one of the other planets besides Jeddah in this movie is called Scarif, but we get some X-Wings in the background. That's really cool. What sticks out to me most about this shot is when Gareth Edwards was signed on to do this movie at Star Wars Celebration. Well, he wasn't signed on, but when he talked about it for the first time at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, he said, the title of this franchise is Star Wars. Let's put the wars in Star Wars. And that's what this feels like. It's definitely, there's something to be said about troopers on a beach. That's just really cool. And it's a different setting than what we've seen normally in a Star Wars movie. So that's really cool. So let's keep going here. This music is freaking awesome. It's a different rendition of the Imperial March. And it's like a heroic version. It's really cool. So yeah, that's just something I noticed.
There is a 97.6% chance of failure.
There is a 97.7% chance of failure. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the way he says failure that I love it. And I really like this character, K2SO. The guy who plays him, his name is Alan Tudyk, and he said in an interview that he's not kind of the wuss that C-3PO is. I mean, there's a little bit of a similarity there because he's saying, you know, the odds of failure, or the odds that, yeah, there's pretty much, you're going to die, and then, you know, we get the whole Han Solo never tell me the odds thing, and that's kind of like what's going on right here, but, yeah, I really like this droid so far. And then right here in this next shot, we get an Imperial, some kind of transport getting blown up, which we've seen before, but it's still a really cool shot. So let's keep going.
He means well.
He means well. And then we get Bodhi's reaction right there, played by Riz Ahmed. I just like the way he reacts to it. I think it's funny. All right. And then, oh my gosh. Oh, that shot of the X-Wings, man, this feels like Battlefront. And if you were a Battlefront hater, that's completely okay. But you can't deny that Star Wars Battlefront, the new version for the latest consoles, is a beautiful looking game, and there is a mode that has X-Wings and TIE Fighters and A-Wings and X-Interceptors, and that just reminds me of this, and it's really cool. I love that X-Wings are flying in the rain at night. There's something about that really just excites me. I'm probably just a fanboy, but I love that shot. And then we get the X-Wings blowing up stormtroopers. I mean, come on, what more could you ask for? It's just a beautiful sequence of events. Oh, and then right here, amazing shot of, I need to find out this guy's name, but he shoots down, or he doesn't shoot down, he shoots an AT-AT, yes, AT-AT, I call them that, they're not AT-ATs to me, they're AT-ATs, and he shoots them right in the head, and that's so cool. I wonder why they didn't do this on the Battle of Hoth, and that's something that could be a problem with this movie, because this movie is trying to introduce new things that we never saw in the original trilogy, so you bring up the question, you know, why wasn't this there at about a Battle of Hoth or anything like that? But that's just something we kind of have to put aside. So let's keep going.
This is our chance to make a real difference.
Okay, this shot right here. What is going on? I have heard theories that they could be trying to destroy Jeddah with the Death Star right here, and that and then we got our rebel crew of Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor trying to escape, and this shot invokes a feeling of just how small the ship is to the size of the planet, and it also makes me think of a few shots in Interstellar where it's just you get a ship that looks so small compared to the massive nature of what's around it, and I just think it's a really cool shot. And then right here where they go in the light speed, what intrigues me about this is because it could be edited in a certain way, but to me it looks like they're on the planet when they go into light speed. Yeah, light speed, or hyperspace, where they go into light speed, and I don't think we've ever seen that before. I mean, the closest thing that we've seen to going into light speed from inside something I can think of is in The Force Awakens, when Han and Rey and Finn and Chewie and BB-8 do that when they are on the little cargo ship where they're being attacked by a Conja Club and the Rathdars. So that's the closest thing. It's probably edited just so we make it think that they are doing this inside the planet. It's probably outside of the planet, but still something to notice, alright? And then right here, I mean, what's going on? We got a TIE fighter crashing into some good old Imperial technicians. I mean, come on, the guys are just trying to do their jobs. Give them a break.
Are you with me?
Okay, this shot. This is a very important shot to me because she says, "Are you with me?" And then the next shot we will talk about. But the way that she walks, she doesn't stop walking once the TIE fighter approaches. This leads me to believe that they are infiltrating the place where they're going to steal the Death Star plans, and that Cassian Andor is probably the one, or Bodhi, actually probably Bodhi, played by Riz Ahmed, is probably piloting this TIE fighter, and he's going to go help pick up Jyn Erso. And what makes me believe that is obviously she does not stop walking when she sees it, and Bodhi is Imperial pilot, so obviously he would have a TIE fighter at his disposal probably. So that makes me believe that she could possibly be going to the TIE fighter for Bodhi to pick her up, because I don't see a TIE fighter coming that would shoot her and she keeps walking towards it. That wouldn't necessarily make sense, but yeah, it's a really cool shot. And this reminds me of, I keep bringing up Star Wars Rebels. There's a shot in Star Wars Rebels Season 2, Episode 1, Siege of Lothal, where it's either the first episode of the Season 2 or the last episode, where Darth Vader actually comes up on Ezra and he's standing on a TIE fighter, and for some reason this just reminded me of that. I mean, how cool would it be if Darth Vader was in that TIE fighter? But we know that he has a TIE Interceptor, which we saw in A New Hope, so he could be in this. I don't think it is him, but that'd be pretty badass if it was Darth Vader right here.
All the way.
And then just really cool shot right here of all of the crew. What looks like we have Chirrut, we have, I need to figure out the guy's name behind him, and then we have K2SO, and Cassian Andor seems to be in here also, just at a different angle. Then we get Jyn Erso, and in the sizzle reel that we saw at the Star Wars Celebration London, Jyn in this shot seems to say, "May the Force be with us," which I don't know how I feel about that yet, but yeah, then that's seemingly our last shot of the trailer, but we do get one more. Alright, Darth frickin' Vader. And if you did not get chills right there, something's wrong with you. You should probably be in that suit. But just analyzing this shot right here, it definitely looks like Vader is analyzing what seems to be some kind of plans for the Death Star. I mean, it could be the plans that the rebels are stealing. But it also looks like, how I said back on the Rebel base, we see some kind of like green lighting kind of map in the background. This seems to be that version, but red. And it just looks like Vader is just staring at it, trying to game plan for what he's going to do next. And at the trailer that came out at Star Wars Celebration London, that most people didn't see unless it got leaked online, we basically saw the silhouette of Vader in the reflection of this shot. And I'm glad that they didn't do that in this trailer. I'm glad that they did actually show us a real shot of Vader. Obviously, we don't see much. It's not something that we haven't seen before. But it's still cool seeing Darth freaking Vader in this movie. It really shows to people that didn't know he is in the movie. Or I guess they could technically think it's Kylo Ren, because Kylo Ren and Vader do have semi-similar helmets. I know Kylo Ren modeled his after Vader, but just a really cool shot here. And yeah, so, okay, and actually a few people did tweet me questions to answer on this video about Rogue One. The first question asked me, someone asked, is it Geonosis? And I think they're referring to the planet that we see at the beginning of the trailer. And actually, I don't think that is Geonosis. I do think that is the planet Jedha. Geonosis could make sense because we see in Attack of the Clones that they are starting to build the Death Star with the Geonosians, and they're trying to do stuff around Geonosis, and they're building around Geonosis, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, it could be in the movie, don't get me wrong. I just don't think the very first shot in the trailer and what you're alluding to is Geonosis, but, I mean, it's a good theory. I just don't think that's the case. And then I got another question saying, can you kind of go through the characters of this movie so far? So yeah, I'll definitely do that. So the main lead we have in this movie is Jyn Erso, played by Felicity Jones. We don't really know a lot about her, but so far we know that she is kind of not... Okay, so we don't know a lot about her. We do know that her father, played by Mads Mikkelsen, actually helped make the Death Star. We haven't seen him a lot in trailers, but he helped design the Death Star. He's been described as the Robert Oppenheimer of Star Wars, where he makes something that he thinks is going to be used for a good purpose, and then in the wrong hands, it can be used terribly, and he regrets it totally. So Jyn Erso is his daughter, and we don't know a lot about her besides that, but I feel like she definitely isn't on a great path in life, but then Diego Luna's Cassian Andor see something in her that he thinks could be useful, and they recruit her for this kind of mission. And then we have director Orson Krennic, played by Ben Mendelsohn, and he's definitely the big baddie of this movie. I'm kind of think he's going to die at the end of this movie just because we don't see him in A New Hope. But yeah, he's going to be the big bad guy of this movie. But we also have Darth Vader looming in the background, so how big can he really be? And then next we have Captain Cassian Andor, played by Diego Luna. We don't know a lot about him either. We don't know a lot about most characters in the movie so far. But we do know that he has been recruiting for the rebellion for a while, and that he's trusted, and he has a droid named K2SO. Speaking of K2SO, we know that he's played by Alan Tudyk, and that he was first an Imperial droid, and Captain Cassian Andor either took him over or somehow freed him and wiped his memory, and he became Cassian Andor's droid. And then next we do have Mon Mothma, who can be seen in, she's in A New Hope, I think, but then she's most notably recognized for her role in Return of the Jedi, where her famous line, "Many Bothans died to give us this information," where she's kind of the leader of the rebellion and the strategist. So we see her in this. And then we also get a cameo from Senator Bail Organa, who is Leia's adopted father, so that's cool. And then the guy that in the trailer that I didn't know his name is Baze Malbus. He's being played by Jang Wen, and he seems to be kind of Chirrut, who is played by Donnie Yen's kind of sidekick and the muscle sort of to Chirrut's mind, and they seem to be a really good dynamic. And then speaking of Chirrut, he is played by Donnie Yen, obviously, and he seems to be sort of a guy that isn't a Jedi just because he doesn't really fall in the time period where you can be a Jedi, because Jedi have kind of been exterminated in the last 20 years, but he believes in the Force, and he's trying to kind of take it into his own hands, and he is blind, but he does believe in the Force, and I think he says a line, he's like, "All is as the Force wills it to be." He definitely does believe in the Force, like I keep saying, and yeah, he has a really cool stick. Maybe he and Rey would get along well. And then we have Saw Gerrera, who is played by Forrest Whitaker, and Saw Gerrera is a really interesting character because this is actually not the first time we see this character. He actually appeared in, I think, season 2 maybe of Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated show, and he was sort of a freedom fighter of the planet Onderon, and not Alderaan, where Leia's from, but Onderon. And there was an episode where the Jedi came to kind of liberate Onderon, I think, and he and his sister were integral parts of that, and we saw him there. But it's really interesting because he's sort of the first canon character that appeared in something other than the movies that is actually going to also appear in the movies, so they're going to be back and forth kind of. But yeah, that's pretty much all the characters that we know so far. Oh yeah, then like I said, General So's father is named Galen Malik, and then he helped create the Death Star. So that's pretty much all we know so far as in terms of characters. But yeah, so I hope that answered your question, and we'll probably get more information on the characters pretty soon because Force Friday is coming up, so we get some toy information, always some good stuff with that. And then as we inch closer towards the release of Rogue One, we're going to get more news about the characters and the plot of the story. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.